there are some things in comics that just can't be changed. One of those things is that Peter Parker was raised by Uncle Ben and Aunt May, and we all know Uncle Ben's infamous line,
"With great power comes great responsibility."
Fun fact, Uncle Ben never even said that. It comes from Spider-Man's first appearance in comics, and it was not Uncle Ben who said it. He was already dead, but it was actually the comics narrator who said it. Anyway, well, who actually are Peter's real parents? They barely are mentioned or show up in comics. So in this video, we'll be covering who Peter Parker's parents really are. Peter is born to Richard and Mary Therese Parker. Richard is the younger brother of Ben. When he joined the military, he excelled in the field. So much so that Richard's combat success caught the eye of Nick Fury, who asked Richard to join him as a covert CIA agent. It is at the CIA that Richard met Mary Fitzpatrick. Mary was a translator for the CIA. Her mother died at a young age, and she was raised by her father, Wild Will Fitzpatrick, a legendary OSS agent. Mary excelled in school, and after her father died, she wanted to continue in his field and used the connections she made through her father to land a job at the CIA. But her real passion, her real dream, was to one day be a field agent. And this again is where she met Richard. The two fell in love and they were quickly married. Before one of Richard's missions, Mary pitches to her boss that her and Richard should go undercover as a couple, since they're already married. And their boss likes the plan. They are sent to Bombay to retrieve a captured agent, who went by the name of Agent 10. While they were searching for Agent 10, they are captured by the Baroness Van Crump, who then takes the two to her hideout, which just so happens to be the same place that they're keeping Agent 10. We then see that Agent 10 is actually Wolverine, and this is Wolverine before he gets his adamantium claws, which makes sense. It's likely when Logan was part of Team X, which was a joint team between the CIA and Canada, or when he was with the Canadian Defense Ministry, and it's after that he gets sent to the Weapons X program. Of course, the three of them are able to fight off Van Crump's henchmen, and they break free. But while fleeing, it appears that Mary gets injured, so Richard and Logan take Mary to the hospital, just to make sure she's okay, and it is revealed that she's actually pregnant with her first child, who will become, of course, Peter Parker. So getting into how Mary and Richard died, obviously this takes place after Peter's born, and it first shows that Mary and Richard are really good parents. They shows that they really love the kid, but they still have a job, and that job is dangerous. And they're going to be sent to a mission in Algeria. So they leave Peter with Ben and May while they go on this mission. However, a month goes by, and no one's heard from Peter's parents, and they find out that they actually died in a plane crash. On top of that, evidence has come out that they were both traitors to the US government. Ben and May are really devastated by this, but they decide to take in Peter as their own child and keep everything about their parents a secret. Years later, after Peter has become Spider-Man, Aunt May asks Peter to move some things out of her basement, and when a trunk breaks open and a bunch of news clippings fly out, Peter tries to pick them up and sees that they're all about his parents, and all about how his parents are traitors. And this drives Peter absolutely mad with grief, and he decides the only thing that he can really do is travel to Algeria and try to get some answers for himself. When Spider-Man gets there, he's able to find where his parents operated out of. So he breaks into this office, starts going through everything until he finds a secret filing cabinet. And inside he finds a folder with his dad's name on it. And inside of this folder is his dad's ID card for the Red Skull, proving that Peter's dad was an actual traitor. When Peter looks behind him, he sees it's the Red Skull there, and the two get into a fight. Peter's able to escape, but the Red Skull, not knowing what Spider-Man took from his office, decides to put a hit at him, using the same assassin that killed his parents, the Finisher. The Finisher shoots a missile at Peter, but he's able to avoid it, and it actually hits the car that the Finisher is operating out of. Peter pulls him from the car and tells him that telling him the truth will help his conscience before he dies. And for a man who's about to die, he tells a very detailed story about what had happened to his parents, that they were actually innocent. They're not traitors. They were trying to get information on the Red Skull to give back to the US government. The Red Skull found out about it, didn't like it, so sent the Finisher to tamper with the plane that Mary and Richard were on, then planted evidence that they were actually spies against the US. When with the Finisher dying shortly after, Peter doesn't have any proof. So he goes back to the Red Skull, they get into a fight, the building burns down, and just so happens that the fire burns his dad's ID card, revealing another card inside, saying that his dad was an actual US agent undercover to get information on the Red Skull. Which I feel like spies don't carry around a card that say, "I'm a spy," but it's comics. So Peter finally has proof to clear his parents' name. The last story I wanted to touch on was when Peter's parents actually returned to life. And this was a story that happened in 1992 and was not received well by readers. So one night, Aunt May gets a knock at her door, and she is shocked to see that it's Richard and Mary Parker. She tells Peter to come home right away, and he is super excited to see his parents. Although, Aunt May's a little skeptical. And after a near-death experience from the Vulture, Peter decides that life's too short, and tells his mom and dad that he's actually Spider-Man, which wasn't his best idea, because after Peter leaves, they both say that they have to kill Peter now. And this is because they're actually life model decoys, which are just really convincing AI robots. And Peter's able to track down the Vulture, the Chameleon, and the 2 AI robots back at their base. And Peter finds out that it's the Chameleon that made these life model decoys, but he was under orders from someone else. Peter's robot dad attacks him, and it kind of gets weird. Peter's dad basically morphs into one of the Terminators from the Terminator 2 movie, but right before Peter's dad can kill Spider-Man, the mom robot walks up and electrocutes the dad robot, because she was programmed to love Peter. That programming basically canceled out the orders to kill Peter. However, the Chameleon ends up killing the mom robot, not before we get this really weird scene where she tells Spider-Man that she loves him, and he's really emotionally crushed that his mom just died, although he knows it's just a robot. Yeah, it gets a little weird at the end. Afterwards, Peter wants to find out who forced the Chameleon to do this, and it turns out that it was Harry Osborn, the son of Norman Osborn, just as a way to try to drive Peter absolutely insane. And this is because Harry still believes that it was Peter that killed his dad. That's basically everything we know about Peter's parents. So I'm going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you slap that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.